So we have up for comparison Intel's i5-6600 in the Broadwell i7-5775c. The 6600 is the newer Skylake processor in i5-5775c, is a year-old Broadwell processor. Let's take a look at some of their key differences in specifications. Both of them are quad-core desktop processors, and the key difference is the support for the hyper-threading. The Broadwell does support hyper-threading that gives you 15 to 18% more performance. And then we have the clock frequency differences. The base clock is about the same, and the turbo clock is slightly higher for 6600. In overall, we should see between the hyper threading and the clock, we should see 15 to 16% more performance for the Broadwell, because from the architecture point of view, Skylake doesn't make any much progress. It's still about the same architecture. It's the same lithography, 14 nanometer. Maybe Skylake has improved a bit of yield, but still it's more or less the same processor. The DMI bus that connects the processor to the chipset improves from 5 giga transfer per second to 8 giga transfer per second, but you will notice it only when the processor does a lot of transfer on the PCI Express external cards that are hooked to it. If it does not reach that peak bandwidth, you won't see any difference, and that's true for the processor as well. You'll see the difference only when the processor hits its peak performance. Price wise, it's $377 versus $224. So with Skylake, if your requirement is not for the peak CPU performance, you want to save money by staying with the newer Skylake. In terms of requirement for the motherboard, I think they won't be compatible. The newer Skylake support DDR4. The Broadwell supports DDR3 that works at 1.5 volt. DDR4 works at 1.2 volt and gives you some power saving, but that's not important for desktop. You get the same performance for DDR4 or DDR3, at least at this point. The big story is the integrated graphics. The Broadwell comes with Iris Graphics 6200, that's 50% faster than HD Graphics 530. It's a backward step in Skylake to remove the better graphics with the slower graphics. I think the Intel thinks of hitting the peak CPU performance, and it's wanted to use the chip area for CPU in place of the graphics. Looking at the pass mark score, we have i7-5775c at 10,821 versus 6600 at 7382. That shows a 25-26% better performance for the Broadwell. About 15 to 18% of that should come from the support for the hyper threading, and rest I think is because of the fact that the benchmark takes into account the graphics score as well. I hope this comparison helps you. Thanks for taking a look.